Right, so onto the kitchen area. The reason I'm over here is just to show you we now have some water in. So that's currently filling, just so I can show you the taps working. We'll move over to the hob. So as you can see, the hob on the right is lit. The reason I've done it before I've started the video is you need both hands and I can't hold the camera. So we'll switch that off, but basically to light it you just push and hold that down and turn it, and light it with the lighter as you normally would. The glass cover on there is just so you can use it as a chopping board or what have you, but don't close that when that has been lit until it's cooled down, otherwise it will shatter. Moving across, we've got the sink, so the tap is just there and it is just a pull out and spin it to adjust the temperature, and again that has a glass lid. Moving down to the grill, so you can see the grill pan's in there. This button is the light, which you can just see now, and this is the same in that you push and turn to get it to light, but this one does have an ignition switch, so you push that in and as you can see the grill is now lit, so we'll just switch that straight off. Moving across, we have storage. So in here is your gas isolators. The top one's for the hob, middle one for the grill, bottom one for the fridge, and essentially what they do is allow you to isolate one of the items if it becomes faulty. So if for any reason you can smell gas and you establish that it's the oven, for example, well, the grill, you can switch the grill off and carry on with your holiday using what you have left. Moving across to the fridge, so it's a good sized Dometic fridge, as you can see. This is a removable freezer compartment. Okay, now I'm doing the fridge on its own just because it's got a few different modes and it's easier that way. As you can see, the freezer compartment is removable. There are a couple of little clips just on the underside there that allow you to do that, and then you essentially get that much extra space if you want to stick bottles or something on that top shelf. So just to talk you through the modes, if we move it to there, that is currently running off of the mains connection, so that will only work when we are hooked up, which we obviously are now because the indicators on the control panel. You can obviously see it's working, it's lit up blue, and that's that. Next one, we have battery. So it's stayed lit up. This will only maintain a temperature, really. It doesn't sort of cool. You are always best using either the gas or the mains to get it down to a temperature, and then this will just maintain it as you drive in. And the next one is gas. So to do the gas, you push this in, this dial here, and press and hold the ignition, and you will see it. That's not hard enough. So what that will do is you'll see that little, there we go. So the little orange indicator goes to the green, and that is now lit. The gas and 240 volt are way in front of the 12 volt for cooling, and if you're on the site you might as well use the 240 volt because you'll already be paying for the electric. And that there is off, and that is your temperature adjustment. We'll shut that. These two little buttons here are just the lock on the door. Just above that, so in here we have the fill cushion just to make up the bed, and we also have a digital aerial indicator, so that's currently red. It will change colour, and here we have the aerial, so it's on a long pole, as you can see. Essentially you unscrew this here, unscrew that collar, and that allows you to push it up and down, and the little tail on the bottom allows you to tilt it laterally. You just make sure the bread is facing that way when you are travelling, just so the wind doesn't get it or anything like that. Okay, so on with the bathroom, a little light there, switch that on. There's a vent just to let humidity out. Storage here, there's storage here next to it. In there is the clip that goes in the end of the shower rail to hold the shower curtain on. The shower curtain is in the same cupboard as all the paperwork and has been cleaned. Moving down here we have the toilet. So how the toilet works is you have this little lever here, you push that to one side and that opens the flap inside. That's the flap that I mentioned earlier, that if you leave that open you cannot remove the cassette. And then the blue button there, as you can see, is flushing with fresh water. The little light there is to show you the cassette is full. Essentially you want to be changing it every couple of days anyway, if there's 2 or 3 of you in here at least. Moving just up here, we've got the sink. These plugs just essentially lift like that, the same as the one in the bottom. So just check that tap's facing the right direction, and the tap is just there and just turns like so. That also becomes the shower. So up here on the shower bracket, and then the shower is there. So this is a little bit difficult to do just because it's a little tight and the video is not ideal. So here's your front sitting area. So you've got your 2 belted seats here that are 3-point belts. You've got your buckle there and the other side. Under there is, I mentioned on the phone, the water filler. So if ever you do get the filler cap stuck, you can just lift that unscrews, and that allows you to fill the water from inside. Also useful if you are filling it with sort of a bucket or anything like that, because it gives you a bigger area to aim at. Down here we've got storage under the floor, good for wine and that sort of thing. Table there, so that leg, you press those buttons and it will break in those various places and locks onto there. Cushions move forward, that front seat spins, and that creates your 3rd sleeping area. This table can also be used on the outside of the vehicle, so just opening that door. Just there is another rail that means that when you're cooking you can have the table outside if weather permits. So coming back in here, both of these front seats swivel, so all you need to do with that is just grab this lever here and pull it backwards, and that will spin round and it's so. And the same for the passenger seat. You sometimes do have to juggle them backwards and forwards a bit, you will get the hang of it. So that's the sitting area just there. We have storage over here, just above the cab. Not deep, but big enough for sort of bedding and that sort of thing. This one has the net curtains and the shower curtain in there. I'll also put the paperwork in there if it will fit. If not, I'll put it over the cab. This cupboard here is where your sky control is. So just to switch that on, so everything lights up, and it is currently saying that there's nothing connected, and that is the scan button. But everything is in the book pack with regard to this. They are the winter covers for the fridge, so they just keep leaves and mess and everything out during winter. To the rear of the van where the bed is, we've got the storage overhead and the big skylight. Again, this skylight has a fly screen one side and the blackout the other, and it can be opened by pressing this button and then setting it wherever you like with the bits on the side. Just make sure it is closed when driving, preferable. Coming down here is where the boiler lives, so just behind that. We'll open that. What you will find is that you can just see that burgundy knob there is what releases it if the temperature drops below 8 degrees, I believe it is, 6 or 8 degrees if it's not being used. You will sometimes find that will dump anyway, even if you're using it. So a lot of people, if they are going away in winter, will put a clothes peg or something on there or something through it just to stop it from self-releasing, although obviously it is a design feature to stop the boiler breaking if it freezes. So there is the trimmer boiler. Just shut that door. There is another gas isolator for the boiler. So again, if for any reason you can smell anything from that back section like gas, you can isolate the boiler. So just move into this. At the bottom we have the electric part of the heating. You can just see the LED in there. So that just does your hot water. That just sets the hot water on electric. The one above is your main control. So the centre section is thermostat, essentially it's the temperature. The top two are just hot water on those temperatures, 40 or 60 degrees, you can see the lights up. 0 is off. That one down there is just heating, so no hot water, and the bottom one is heating and water at 60 degrees. Again, all the manuals for these are in the book pack. Just over the other side we have the fire extinguisher there, and here is your twin leisure batteries and all your fuses and breaker panel. Hopefully you don't need it, but just so you know where they are. The bed, so just here in the middle we've got a seat buckle style fastener. That just allows the bed to drop. So that comes down, slatted base, and then the bed will come. The bed is made of 3 sections, so that and a little sliver down the side. This is a brand new mattress protector that the owners put on prior to sale, so it's never been slept on and it is clean and ready to use. Up there we have the fixings for smoke alarm and CO2 alarm. Again, they are in one of the cupboards. I've taken them down just because both require batteries. So they just want, I believe that's 3 AA batteries, and that is the square 9-volt battery. But that is pretty much it, I believe.